and I'm going to learn how to trade Forex. Yes, you read that correctly. I'm challenging myself to generate $1,000 per month completely online. Today is the day I start to learn German. That was me, but it's also you. Now granted, you're probably not stupid enough to make videos of yourself making your goals and then posting them for 50-something people to see, but it's still kind of you, right? I mean, we make goals and we achieve them. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, scratch that. We make goals and we forget about them, we completely fail, or we give up. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like I rarely ever achieve the goals that I set, and much less even make progress. And that goes for all the clips that you just saw. And it's led me to ask myself countless times, what is wrong with me? Because I'm sure you can relate that when we sit down to make these goals that we mean to go after them in those moments, that those things really matter to us, but it only takes weeks and sometimes even days for things to fall apart. We can ask ourselves just what are we doing wrong when we've been working on something for so long and it feels like nothing is changing. I've been trying to understand the difference, what separates us from the people who do achieve their goals, those who turn around their lives and find success, those breaking records and changing the world. And after months of trying and failing and researching, I'm starting to see now that I think a lot of it has to do with this little concept that I know you've heard of called consistency. Our goals always start from the same place, a desire to see change, whether that's in ourselves or in our environments. I know for me, for the longest time when I was younger, I never thought that I would have clear skin. I would walk around every day insecure, and that feeling was only amplified by all the perfect people around me. It took way too long, but one day I decided I was going to do something about it. I would literally have to reverse the damage and scarring I've been inflicting upon myself for years. And there are no shortcuts to clear skin, unless you've got a couple grand to drop on a face replacement surgery. But what that meant for me was every day, cleansing, double cleansing, exfoliating, just non-stop. And the results speak for themselves. Granted, it's not perfect yet, but it is way better than where it used to be. But this is just one example, whether it was going from not being able to do a single push-up to being able to do 30 plus, or feeling like I couldn't keep up in Spanish class to learning how to speak French. I've seen that there are no shortcuts to getting where you want. And as much as you'd want to master that new skill by tomorrow, you won't magically wake up proficient. When it comes to trying to be consistent, this is the first step, having the right perspective. When I was first trying to fix my face, let me tell you, it was not working. I was buying products and using them and I was yo, where are the results that they were promising? When I first started playing basketball, I would have practice every day, for multiple hours, and yet game after game, I could still barely catch a pass or make a layup. Growing up, I would never call myself an athlete, and now I'm playing college basketball. What? That transformation just straight up took time. Days of doing the same thing over and over again, convincing myself to keep going even when I felt hopeless. As much as social media likes to make it seem, I accepted the fact that my success wasn't coming overnight, and that all the failures that I had to go through would eventually add up to my success. But I also knew that the moment that I gave up, I had secured my fate. So the first thing I've learned is to have the right perspective. Being consistent is necessary to achieve the things that you want. Now with that, I know anyone who's ever tried putting consistency into practice has realized that it is probably one of the most difficult things to master. Especially when you have a bunch of responsibilities, or for me as a student athlete, it's just so much is happening on a day-to-day that the things that we try to add to our life often just get pushed to the side. I just made a video about how to get rid of distractions, so go check that out if you feel like you just can't stay focused, because honestly I feel like the only thing that we are consistent at nowadays is going on social media, going out and wasting time, or we're consistent at overthinking and over-engineering solutions to problems that only require action. The second thing I've learned about being consistent is that it has no room for excuses. You get it done or you don't. It doesn't matter if it's pouring rain outside or it's 11 p.m. after a long day. Consistency doesn't care about how you feel. Only the hours you put in will determine what you get out, because no matter how much you think about it, it's still not getting done. It's a hard truth I try to remind myself of every day, and it is difficult. So let me tell you 2 ways that I use to make it easier. One of the things I tell myself now is in order to be consistent, you have to be consistent. In other words, consistency fuels consistency. Actions repeated daily over a period of time become habits, and those habits become your lifestyle. They'll stop feeling like hard choices or sacrifices you have to make, and it just becomes who you are. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about this. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 9, and starting in verse 24. It says, "Don't you know that in a race, all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who runs goes into strict training. Therefore, I don't run aimlessly. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave." If every day you decide to strike a blow to your body, to get up early, to work for an hour, like whatever it is, eventually it will listen to you. It's definitely gonna fight back some days, and trust me, doing anything else will seem really tempting, but it will submit if you keep going. This literally worked for me last spring when I was struggling even just to go outside and work out. And I had to tell myself, Roman, just put on your socks, right? Just put on your shoes, just walk outside. And in just a few days, I literally went from dreading it to looking forward to it. Because when I stayed consistent and like I started seeing the results and I started feeling stronger, it's like the habit just solidified itself. And the voice of resistance got quieter and quieter. It can take up to a month for something to become a habit, and so for the next 30 days, no excuses, commit to doing something that'll get you closer to your goals. Don't go overboard, in fact, make it something that you can absolutely do every single day. That's where you'll start to see change. The second tip is probably one you've heard before, and that is to find someone to hold you accountable. When you're not just doing it for yourself, like that responsibility can get you to push yourself. Like working on something becomes a priority instead of just being an option. This isn't a necessary step, but it can be super helpful and really increase your chances of staying consistent. And so the second thing I've learned is to be action oriented. Consistency is a muscle you have to keep working to grow stronger. Let's say you already understand that there are no shortcuts and that there are no excuses. Well, this could probably be the most important thing for you, and it's to remember that no one's counting. I failed at so many goals, and I've failed at trying to be consistent so many times. I've created a bunch of different schedules and plans and restrictions. I've uninstalled this app and I've got up super early. Like I've done everything, and time again, I mess up. I let that voice of resistance or fear win. Life just gets in the way. But I've also learned that beating myself up or complaining doesn't help either. It just keeps me stuck in the past, and it tends to kill my confidence, which is already low enough. No one's counting how many times you failed, and you won't remember either. So put your focus on what's next. Whatever happened, happened. What's in your control is how you respond and what you do now. Learn by your mistakes, but don't live by them. Your failures do not define you. You can choose between two perspectives: how far away you are or how far you've come. All I'll say for me is one is discouraging and the other is pretty inspiring. From my experience, the secret to consistency are those three ideas. I didn't want to focus on like too many practicals or little tips and tricks or like what apps to use, because I'm someone who's tried literally everything, and I promise you, even the most detailed schedule will fall apart. If you focus on applying these concepts to your everyday, you can use any tactic and you're going to see way more success. Recently, I've been trying to spend time with God more every morning, and I'm trying to dedicate an hour every day to learning React and web development. But I want to do something risky and try and set another goal. I want to put out more frequent videos on this channel. Ideally once a week, at the very least, every 10 days. For a while I've been wanting to, change up the style, and I want to really focus on like documenting the journey and creating a space, not just to tell my story, but to tell yours as well. If that sounds interesting to you, then please subscribe and join the community. If you enjoyed any part of this video or found something useful, then make sure you leave a like and leave a comment letting me know about your 30-day challenge. And if you want a partner to hold you accountable, then check the description for a link to our Discord server. Thanks again for watching, and remember, don't wait for a hero. Go be one. Peace.